Mhm. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Hello, almost Shabbat Shalom. What a day. It's a beach day. Every day can be a beach day. You know? Every day can be a beach day. Every day can be a mountain day. Yeah. We're here at one of my favorite spots in the South Bay. And choice. This is really always something in our life. Always something in our peripheral vision or direct vision. Choice. Choices that we make. Where do we make these choices from? And of course, every week the portion of the week is giving us lessons. Oh, hello, Shabbat Shalom, Tamara. Wonderful you join. Hope everything is well. So every day we have this contemplation of a choice, right? The contemplation of is it my choice? Am I choosing something because some other influence is influencing my ability to choose or to discern? So it's every day. Also when we are going to the grocery store, when we are walking down a grocery store and there is a homeless person sitting on the street, what do we do? You know, that's the instinct. Sometimes the instinct is to go and do and give and help. Actually, many times that's the instinct. But what is happening? What is happening many times? We are being influenced by either what others will see, what will say, what will happen. How are we? How are we? Do we go talk to to the person that is homeless that is sitting on the street? Do we take the next? Do we take the other sidewalk to walk us outside, or we don't want to get closer because the person smells, or because we're all other reasons. If we notice, if we probably won't be able to live if we just stop and notice for everything. But what happens is that as we do that and as we are aware of why we make the choices that we make, it becomes more fluid. It becomes motion, and motion is lotion. So the more we are doing something of anything, the more we're good at it. If I want to be a virtuous guitar player, I got to practice every day, at least 8, 10 hours a day, right? If I want to be in a certain place, it's just how much I do is what's going to give me the best results. I'm moving so you can see the ocean. Maybe I should move like this so you can see the ocean more. There you go. Maybe I'll do this so you can like that. So this portion of the week is Parashat Re'eh. And it's talking exactly about this. And God is saying, Re'eh, here I give in front of you the path to do this, and you shall receive this, and the path of doing this, and you should receive that. If you do the mitzvot, if you do the things that I'm telling you that are the blueprint of the creation, then hey, you'll be fine. If you don't, then you choose another way. It's not about punishment, it's about cleansing the ways. It's about cleansing the ways. And this is something that science and people always pondered upon, and discussions and questions and philosophical questions. And do we have freedom of choice? Do we have freedom of choice? Is the choice is our lives already dictated to the dot? And meaning that God knows everything. So if God knows everything, what choice do I have? Right? And this, or do I have really a free choice? And this is something that up until Einstein, everything was believed to be dictated. Everything was believed. Oh, I am somebody is doing negative actions. Oh, that's the person. You can't judge him because he's predetermined to be judged or predetermined to do negative things. Somebody who is just doing other things. Oh, they're predetermined to do that. There's a story from around the time of Newton where there was a criminal that was standing before the judge, and he did a lot of crime. He was standing for his crimes, and The criminal was smart, so he told the judge, I don't know why you're judging me for life in prison. For life in prison. I mean, I'm predetermined to do that. I mean, so why are you punishing me for something that I'm predetermined to do? And so the judge got a little shook, but he came right back and he said, "You're right. You're predetermined, but I'm also predetermined to judge you for life. Because what can I do? That's how I am built." So it's almost like tit for tat, or there is a almost like a no responsibility kind of thing for the choices that they made, right? But there is a difference between knowing what the probability or outcome will be, but knowing the outcome doesn't mean that it takes away from the freedom of choice, from the choice of that person to do something. For example, there is a teacher that has 10 students, and the school has a great competition, and it was in a certain subject. It was in math, right? And the school said the student who is going to do the best is going to get a monetary reward. So now the teacher is looking, and it's a over the summer, so it's a long work. So it's a lot of work to put in. And the teacher looks at the students, and the teacher knows the students from they were in the first grade. So he knows already these kids in and out. He knows this person puts an effort, this person doesn't, this person is going to put day and night in and figuring out this assignment. Another student will spend an hour, another student will be 10 hours, and then he'll give up. And the time came, everybody submitted, and the results came, and it happened exactly what the teacher said will happen, how we predicted. That kid put 10 hours, got tired. The other kid put 1 hour, but the kid that he thought that would put everyday time into figuring it out did exactly that, and he had the highest score. So the teacher knew, based on the probability and based on the person, what may be, but it didn't affect the choice of the kid. It didn't affect the choice of the child, or whoever that is, or the kid in this story, to make their choice to succeed. Right? And there is the sages are talking about really a very cool tool on recognizing whether our choice is a good one for us or whether it is not a good one for us. When we are about to do something that is difficult, we know we need to make a choice. When we are about to do something that we know is good for us, is good for our growth, is good for our development, but it is hard to make. So the doing of the good thing that is good for us always will be hard in the beginning, in its conceptual alignment, in the thought before the action, but afterwards you feel good about yourself. So the beginning is difficult, and then later on it proves to be, it worked out. It's like going to a gym, You don't want to go to a gym, but then you go to the gym and then you work out and you sweat, but afterwards you feel good about that. Versus when I do something that is not good for me, in the beginning it seems very easy, it's very cool, I do it, there's no problem, there's no questions, there's no boom, 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 going doing, but then after that I feel empty. That's the distinction between, are you doing something that is good for you, or are you doing something that is dictated or influenced in some way, shape, or form by an outside source, by the society of what clothes you wear. And somebody may choose to wear certain clothes because they're not happy with themselves. Many people choose to wear bigger clothes than their size because they're not happy with their body. Not all the time, but that is a blanket understanding, blanket statement, and every time there are exceptions in every rule. But people wear different things because they don't feel comfortable. What they will say, what will people do? What somebody who grew up in a religious environment in a very dogmatic environment, an environment that puts down the person, that humiliates the person, that humiliates the kid, or trying to assert that oppression by fear of, oh, what will happen if you don't do that. Anybody went through that experience? Right? So yeah, it is. And then the difficult part is to break out of it, or even I'll refine it. The difficulter part, the difficult part is the thought and the preparation to break out of it. Because once you start breaking, once you start expanding that crack that you've created, and putting your head through and going through, then it's easy, because then you see what is there. It's like going on a roller coaster up the first incline. The first incline. When you sit, everybody, okay, close, put your belts on, put your things on. Okay, let's start climbing. The first incline until you get to the top is the most scary one, because you're seeing the ground separating from you, separating from you, separating from you, separating from you, and you know what's going to happen, right? There's no going back. It's just going down from here. And it ends. You know when it ends? Uh, you know when it ends? It ends after your butt leaves the chair for a second before it drops. Once it drops, it's all fun, right? So it's the thought that is very scary in many situations. I'm going to move down here so the sky is a little bit bluer. There you go. The thought of it is scarier than the action. Let me see what tomorrow. I have to put my glasses tomorrow to see to see what you're reading, what you're writing, because otherwise. Uh, oh, you're welcome. That's wonderful, Tamara. Yeah, that's wonderful. To do exactly opposite. Not opposite is always the right answer, but to do the opposite when it's good for us, when it's good for you. We are today in Rosh Chodesh, in the head of the month of Elul, and we are heading towards Rosh Hashanah in September, the head of the year. We'll have more talk about that. But Chodesh Elul is about returning to the heart. It's about returning to the heart. It's returning to listen and to pay attention to the heart. By the way, in Hebrew, paying attention, the word in Hebrew, paying attention, lasim lev, is literally means put your heart. So when I say pay attention, in Hebrew it says put your heart, meaning put your heart in the situation. Don't go with your mind. Put your heart in the situation. Because the heart is really the key. How are we towards one another? More importantly, how are we with us? Are we doing what we want to do? Are we connected to our wants and to our calling and to our desires, or are we stuck here with all kind of movies and stories, and we keep scratching our head until all our hair fall out? That's why my hair fell out, because I keep thinking a lot, scratching. And it's like, are we in a place where we're choosing from our heart, or we're choosing from our monkey mind? Chodesh Elul, the month of Elul, is to come back. This is where the Creator is here, in the field. Everything is in the field. Everything is here. Everything is down. The energetic power of manifestation and going forward is really strong during this time. Started also where the Lion's Gate was, when the Lion's Gate was, till today, and further to the end of September and Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, we'll talk about it next week, and the week following that is about the head of the year for the humans, for the man, for the person, versus the really beginning of the year of the months is Nisan, which is Passover, around April. So there are two heads of the years. One's for nature, and that's everything by nature, and one is for above nature, for the human. So we will talk about this another time. But this month is about coming back to our heart and recognizing two things. Are we choosing because I want to choose, or are we choosing? Are we choosing because we want to choose, or are we choosing because we're influenced this way or the other? by an external person or an external circumstance. And you know what? We're going through everyday situations, how to drive, how to park, how to talk, how to walk, who to say hello to. Am I going to be the first one to say hello? Be that person. Be that person that says hello first. Doesn't matter if the other person responds or not, right? Because if you say, oh, this person didn't respond to me, I'm not going to say hello to any other person anymore, then what happened here? We're influenced by somebody who did something that had to do only with their story, but we personalized it to our story. And now we're saying, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore because that person did this to me, or that person did this to me. But that's getting into the emotional, into the places of wounds, into the places of triggers, and not really being authentic to what we want to do and how we want to do it. This is also going with a life path. What kind of a life path do you want to lead? Do you want to lead a life path that is influenced by another person? Or do you want to lead a life path that is influenced by your understanding of yourself each day and each week that goes by? Okay, tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Absolutely. Absolutely, Tamara. Thank you very much. You're talking about not scaring your child. Very, very, very important. You know, I grew up in the old days in Israel in the old days. 40 years, I don't know, 50 years. The old days where spanking was by way of nature. Some were, some had, some people, some kids had more um, nature, and some people had less nature. But spanking and quote unquote educating the child by beating and by spanking was a natural thing, a natural occurrence, a socially accepted occurrence. And so, as I said, some people had more nature to enjoy, and some people had less. And one of the things that the sages are saying is never disgrace the child. You can correct the child, you can tell the child, you can show different kind of things for the child, but never to break their spirit and never to humiliate them, never to put them down, especially not in front of other children, but never to disrespect them. The sages and the Midrash is saying, יהא כבוד תלמידך חביב עליך כשלך. Let the dignity of your student be likable to you like your own dignity. Meaning, doesn't matter that he's a child. Doesn't matter that you are 50 years old and he's only 10 years old. That person has a soul. That person is here to teach us, right? Kids are here to teach us. I mean, I'm positive about that. And kids many times are more connected spiritually to the concept of creation, of God, of understanding how things are, of seeing the beauty in the world. Why? Because they have less filters. They didn't grow as much. They don't have many influences from others except for their parents. And they are like a clean slate. And as children you'll enter the kingdom. As children we will enter kingdom, and you can call it whatever you want, heaven or anything, but it's really a transcendence. It's change of consciousness. It's expansiveness. As children, why? Because to unlearn all these filters that put us down, that took us down, that told us you cannot do this and you cannot do that, and you are not good enough, and you are yes good enough, and you are short, and you are tall, and you're fat, and you're skinny, and you need to cut your hair. Look at your hair, you're funny. Look at your beard, you're funny. Look at this, you're funny. We hear this all the time. We hear this all the time. As children, we will enter the kingdom. As children, we will ascend. Why? Because we're childlike when we let go of all these dictatorshipness, or all these laws, of all these do this and you're not good enough, and when we listen to what is good for us. And doing what's good for us is hard, and doing what we want is hard. When we come from an authentic place, now, when you say, okay, what is the authentic place? This is the second part. Are you doing it from love and joy, or are you doing it from fear and awe, if you will? Love and joy, or fear and awe? If you are doing it from love and joy, that is the creation nature. That is the nature of creation. That is how we come to the world. Happy, joyous. We are by default, by nature, we are good. By nature, we are happy. Look at babies, look at children. They're predominantly happy. Just let them play. Unless you take something else from them, they get upset or cry. Or if you hit them, they get upset and cry. But children are just happily joyful. They just walk down the puddle. They want to jump in the puddle. They don't care about the $200 shoes that the parents bought them. Well, they shouldn't have bought $200 shoes. That kind of thing, that purity, the purity of creation, the purity of intention. Where is your intention coming from? Where is your action coming from? When you make a choice. So now it comes to free choice. The free choice is here. You ready for that? Free choice is here. Here or here? Where do we choose? Do we choose here or here? Here or here? Where do we choose it from? Here is an exercise. I want to leave you with that. When you want to do something, pay attention to your initial instinct. What your initial first response was. Your initial first response was. Was that initial first response a joyous one? A good one? Makes you feel good? That's the right one. Now, what happens many times? We make a choice, and then we say, oh, you know what? I thought about that. I don't think it's good because, and then I bring reasons, and this, and that, and that, that. All this are movies that we make in our head. All these are also probabilities. We're running math equations. Is this going to be good for me? Is this not going to be good for me? Is this going to be good for me? Is it not going to? This is the mind trying to reason what you've already chosen. The mind is trying to reason what you've already chosen. And where do you choose from? From the heart. Love or fear? Where do I make the choices from? Let me see. I want to read what. Yes, Gina. Exactly. Thank you. How we communicate to the children sets up the precedence of their emotional well-being. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shabbat Shalom. Absolutely. Where do we make our choices from? Chodesh Elul. This time, choose from love place or fearful place. Choose from what is good for you. And if it is hard to conceptualize that, that's probably good for you. Because after you do that, you'll feel good. If it feels good and easy and let's do it and you're hasty, it's probably going to make you feel empty later on. If we wait a little longer, we're never going to make a mistake. We might miss an opportunity here or there, but opportunities always will come. But if we wait a little longer to connect, to see where we're coming from, to see what our intentions are, and to see what our soul is and what our source is, then we win. And the longest distance we'll ever make in our journey, in our life journey, is 18 inches long. From here to here. This is the journey of the heart. Always from the heart. Shabbat Shalom, and I'll see you. Hey, come to the beach. See you at the beach.